Okay, here we go. Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Hope you're doing well. I am hanging out with fellow TNA member Golden Skeeter, and we're going to be talking Splinterlands. We're going to be talking new card monsters. We're going to be getting into a bunch of different things. I hope you're doing well today. Skeeter, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate you coming to hang out, and I appreciate you. In the past, we've had some great conversations talking Splinterlands and whatnot, and thanks for doing this. Paul, good to see you. Skyer, good to see you. Thanks for popping by quickly, guys. I saw 4 or 5 in the like waiting for us to go live. Make sure you drop the like so we communicate that people are 2 people that we are out already and that we're going. We're gonna do an hour this morning in the public. I'm gonna do an hour in the members only immediately afterwards. So from 10 to noon Pacific Standard Time, we'll be talking Splinterlands. There's been new monsters that have been shared from the Splinterlands Rebellion set. We're going to get into those. Not just the 15 I recently covered in my own 30-minute video, but there's actually been more that have been leaked by different creators. I have one that I'm going to talk about today. That's brand new that you've never seen anywhere. That Splinterlands has put in my hands to share with you guys. So we'll get into that later today. Can't wait. Peter, how's your day going? Is today Thanksgiving? No, today's was like, how does it work in America? When is Thanksgiving? Is it Sunday?
Thanksgiving is the 4th Thursday in November.
Okay. So it was yesterday.
Yeah, so it was yesterday, and then everyone gets the Friday off as well.
Gotcha. And today is like the Black Friday, like the actual Black Friday, right?
Yeah, it's pretty scary in America if you really want to go out for those deals and get potentially trampled on, or you can just go online.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's so true. Hey, like it's absolutely, I used to, at least in the old days, I used to try and fight for things. I remember going to stand outside of, we never, like in the last 5 to 10 years, we adopted the Black Friday thing. But many years ago, when I was a kid, we had something called Boxing Day, which is like the day after Christmas. And that's where we had kind of a Black Friday experience in retail. And I remember lining up like at Best Buy or Future Shop, which was like, I don't even know if you guys have that, but it's like essentially an extension of Best Buy. And I would line up 10 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night for the next morning to go in and get these amazing deals. And people are that crazy too, like down there with the Black Friday, aren't they?
Definitely. There's a lot of people that wait out. Like, they have Thanksgiving dinner, and then they'll sleep from like 10 to 2 a.m. or 10 to 4 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. And then they wake up and line up at 4 a.m. waiting to get the new TV deal or whatever they want.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I'm not for it anymore, but I definitely, and especially with technology being what it is, you could just get these things online. Artie Stonefish, thanks for saying hello. Virus, good to see you, buddy. Gathering, thanks for popping by. Appreciate you as always. Got to have you back on sometime soon, Gathering. We'll talk more about Golem Overlord and even I haven't been playing Splinter Forge lately because I just don't have enough time. But man, I'm starting to feel, and I've said this before, but I'm starting to feel more and more like that this ecosystem of games is going to demand too much of me, like in the sense of not even from a video content creation. I mean, like as an individual who believes that blockchain based video gaming and NFTs being rewarded for your time and attention, and cryptocurrency, that, these gaming tokens are going to be meaningful in the future. I think there's really a revolution happening. I want to have as much of it as possible. I want to have my finger in as many of these pies as possible. But there is only so many hours in the day. And I'm like actively looking for more. I just got a code from, actually Bulldog hooked me up with a code to get into big time. So I'm going to give that a test ride. I thank you. Shout out to Bulldog. Thank you very much. That's awesome. And then also a friend of mine who's like exploring this space has got me like chasing down other things too. So I'm going to be trying some new things on the channel. Maybe you guys will see some new stuff. Splinterlands is going to be the core of it. That's where my big money's been and will stay. But I just think this is something different. This gaming moment, this is a revolution in what games even are. And I think if we are attending to it, and if you're leveraging your time and attention into it, there's an opportunity to extract outsized returns on the projects that do persist. Some will fail. Maybe most will fail. but but that doesn't mean I'm not willing to test drive and see and feel it out and find, even forget about even profitability. There's a beginning question of like, is it entertaining? And if I can have fun with these things, I'm going to have fun with these things. And if I can have fun with them and there's a hope that it might turn into something profitable, that's a cool balance. So Gathering, come back on soon and we'll talk about these things. Are there, Golden, Skeeter, are there things that you're touching others outside of Splinterlands? I forget if we've had this conversation before.
Yeah, I've started exploring other spaces a bit since I'm not really well diversified, mainly just in on Splinterlands. So, like you said, your time and attention is getting stretched thinner when you try to expand into like 5 games. So I think I'm just going to hold some tokens in some other games. I got into Illuvium. I threw like a few $100 there last time I was on, and then it 3x'd in like a month.
Nice.
So that one's done pretty well. And I bought a little bit more of that. And then I've been following this very famous crypto head called Alex Becker on YouTube and now recently on Twitter. And he tells you about all these altcoins that can pump. And he's made a lot of money from that. And so I'm kind of just speculating a little bit, just kind of dipping my toes wet, seeing how that goes into some other altcoins. But there's another Web3 game called Shrapnel. It's like a shooter that actually looked very appetizing.
Yep. I think
that could be exciting.
I think I might have just heard about that yesterday. I with another TNA member who's been on the channel, who's been on my YouTube with me. Blaze was tweeting about let's see, I think it was Shrapnel. I could be wrong. You've played that game or no?
No, not yet. I kind of just looked into it a little bit and then was trying to get the token, and then it wasn't on Coinbase, so I need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
But then Alex Becker, who's made like hundreds of $1 million from crypto and altcoins, like the two true degenerate dream that we all have. He talks about Web3 gaming a lot, and 95% of his portfolio is Web3 gaming because he feels like that is the most place for growth right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about how you don't buy a coin based on technology, you buy like the narrative for it. So if he thinks the narrative for Web3 gaming could be really big in the next couple of years.
Yep. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. And that doesn't mean that nothing else will have opportunity, but it's like there is something special here. I've said that before on the channel. I've felt this for years, and that's why I went so, committed to Splinterlands in the way that I did years ago. And I feel like Splinterlands is only it's so trivially small yet that the opportunity is not over. Like massive magnifiers with a game that survived bear market. So like my passion is definitely here. My excitement is here with this game, but definitely that doesn't mean there will only be this game. And then simultaneously, when I play video games, I play a variety of them, and I'm always looking for an entertainment. And if I can enjoy something while having financial, let's go. Like I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna explore it. I see we got 13 people. Thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Drop the like, make sure people know. Share it if you want on social media, if you want to grow what we're doing here. And also, I want to spend some time talking about these new cards I found. And I think I don't want to pull, what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up Discord on my app because I have Discord on my web, on the browser. And I also have Discord on the app. And I'm going to open up Splinterlands, the Mav chat. Because the Mav chat has been a source of where I'm finding the latest Splinterlands alpha. The new cards have been sometimes content creators are dropping it over the last few days, and then it ends up finding its way into Mav chat. And so last night I went through and found a couple new ones, and then there's the 15 that I did a video on. Did you happen to see that video, Skeeter?
Yeah, I watched that one. That's where I first saw all of those new cards, and I was like, wow, this is super exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like maybe from last night there haven't been any new ones. I didn't get a chance to check this before I went live this morning, but last night there was a couple more that I saw. Like one from you can see my screen on Discord, Skeeter, but the fans can't right now. But I will show the 3 or 4 that I found. Let's move into a time of talking about these new ones that haven't yet been mentioned by me. But to the chat, I just want to say drop your comments on ones that you've heard about. If we don't cover it, if you don't think, maybe it's not mentioned here today, I actually want to know the sources. If there's Hive blog posts, because it might be the case that there are some that I've yet missed, and I definitely want to grab them in this live today. And like I said earlier, to those who weren't here, I have a new monster that Splinterlands has given me to reveal to you. I'm going to be revealing it later today, so I hope you stick around for that. Drop the like, drop a comment, let us know you're out there. Yeah, let's get into it. I've got on my Discord with chat with myself. I've previously, we've on the screen, are we seeing this? Yes. So previously we talked about Goblano, NS Soothsayer, Zedica. The multicolor summoners are really interesting, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. Prophet Rosa and the summoner tactics. The summoner tactic mechanic is going to be very exciting to get into. I've already touched on those ones, but any quick thoughts on any of those, Skeeter, before I even we sum up the others?
Yeah, so I took notes when watching your video of like my initial thoughts. And talking about the black and white dual summoner, you can just spam, your typical Kelia team with Bakjira, and then plus all the sneakers like Pelacor Bandit, Uraeus, and then you can play the 9-mana opportunity guy if you have the mana for him, and then you can throw in the Gladiator if it allows, the 5-mana opportunity guy, and the Deep Lurker, and then now you can throw in another opportunity card with the 7-mana Death Archer. I forget her name, but she hits for 3 and gives like swiftness as well.
So it's like an opportunity play from the death in blue is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, you go full opportunity and sneak, and you can fill out the lineup really well, and then you have that 7-mana archer in the back line with 6 speed and swiftness for like sweep defense.
Yeah, like these are on the screen here. I've got all the sneaks from these teams, and now these are some of these are not like. These are old, so they're going to move out of modern, but then also these will not reflect the soul bounds, but there's a ton there. And then if we go into opportunity as well, you're right. There's like, this is absolutely, and these are not even like high mana monsters. Like Feast, again, the Untamed's going to move out. So if you're playing in the modern, I guess that's not going to be a relevant play, but it is interesting to look at this from both angles. Hey, like this is going to greatly impact modern, and of course it's going to greatly impact wild, like in a big way. And it's maybe, even though it's only one edition mixed in with 8 other editions that make up the wild, I think this has a unique impact. What do you think about that?
Totally. I think it's going to impact wild too. And opportunity, it kind of like snowballs. The more opportunity cards you get, the better it gets, because then you got to focus fire that back line even so much harder. So
that's right.
I think it could be very powerful.
Definitely.
Because you're just going to do the blue stuff, and then you get extra added tools. We'll see how impactful that 1 armor and 1 speed is from Kelia, but it could be cool. Yeah, you get your speed back from Lyra. So we'll see.
Definitely. Stock Jockey, thanks for popping by. Good to see you. I saw Gathering mentioning totem prices went for a little pump. I'm glad to hear it. I have a few comments. Not that I'm selling any of my totems. Boxing Day, when you fight over that last piece of fruitcake. What were you going to say, Skeeter?
I had some other ideas about how blue and black could be really good. You can go with the triple taunt. And melee attacks anywhere, or super sneak, or opportunity, where you can play the Coral Lurker, the Night Golem, Night Ghoul, and then also the Wave Brood. And maybe put the Wave Brood up first, since he's not going to attack much. And then you can do double heals and repair and Hardclaw on the front, where you can play the new 6-mana healing card, Anash Soothsayer, plus the Murdawi Guardian with your 3 opportunity cards, and then you throw in a triage for your triple taunt.
You could do quintuple taunt in the wild. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you need like 60 mana or something, but we have those situations. If it was melee from any position, like it's not a terrible idea. But as I often, the interesting thing about this game is that when you have 99 mana, throwing 99 mana at it doesn't mean that you have a better team. There's like synergies, and if you were to, for instance, do like, I think triple taunt could make. I think I like double taunt. I will sometimes do that. Maybe Triple Taunt could be valuable. I definitely think if I had 99 mana and I played this, I would be worse off than if I was to, for instance, bring out some supports monsters that are 4 or 5 mana. Do you agree that like sometimes the most mana you can spend is not the best plan for success, right?
Yeah, that happened to me like last night, a couple nights ago, where I'm like, oh, I have 12 extra mana. I'm gonna throw in Archimist the Bear, and then the other guy just threw in like a Protect or something, and then I ended up losing. So yeah, it's true. And then also you got a good poison rule set where you get Bakjira and Heartclaw and Revealer, and then you get the 4 mana cleanse on life with the ranged triage monster. So you can go Whale or Bakjira, then you cleanse the Bakjira, and then you have Heartclaw in the back who's immune to poison, and then you have the Revealer who's immune to poison, and then you could play the Cursed Wendigo or something like that.
Yep.
I think that could be really strong under like 45 mana.
Yeah. Yeah, Noxious Fume, sometimes it's about surviving the rule set as much as it is about killing your opponent, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially when it's under like 30 mana, the poison becomes a lot more impactful than the damage your cards will deal.
Yeah, there's gonna be a ton of fun and things to think through for these multicolor summoners, and that's even just this one summoner. But there's also, we know now that there's the death with what was the other one? Death with
Fire, I believe, and that was also right. You can put 4 immunity monsters with that, so that'd be really good with poison, or at least 3.
I can't find it right now. Is it here? No. Where is it? Maybe I didn't load it into my own. Oh, this is it. Nope. Oh, this is it. Death with Fire. There he is. Dalfar. Yeah. So interesting, man. Like, how are they going to do this? Help me think this through. How are they going to do multicolor summoners where Death has 2 multicolor common summoners? How does that mean that each Splinter is going to have 2?
That's what I was confused about. I thought they might just do 3 or something, but it looks like there might be some double dipping, and then maybe in the next Rift Watcher set we'll leave a couple combos out that they could add to it.
That would be interesting if they literally just like shirked a couple. So do you think that's possible, that they might say like, sorry, life, you're not getting a dual element summoner? I don't expect so. What do you think?
I think they'll all get at least 1, but I'm saying for all of the possible combinations, there's like at least 12. They might save a few of those. Like Death might get 2 this time, and maybe Life is needs some help, so this could get 2, and then maybe they like save 1 for blue or something later on.
Interesting. Yeah, it'll because something's up. Like I thought they were gonna do 1 Death, Water, 1 Fire, Life, 1 Earth, whatever, and I thought they were doing 5 of these commons, and I guess I didn't really think through how that would work with the splinters that exist, but yeah, I guess they aren't going to have an exact division of equal sort of layout for each of the teams. I just want to say hi to some of the people in the chat. Freedom is the goal. Amen. I love the name, brother. Hey, what are your most important summoners in general? We can talk about that for sure. We'll spend some time talking about the soul or the new summoners and the rebellion leaks that we've seen, and there's been a few more that we're going to get into, but we're just doing a little bit of a recap on some of the ones we've already touched on, because I want to hear Skeeter's thoughts on these. If you guys have cool thoughts on the leaks that we've seen so far, and the ones that I'm going to show in a minute, or the one that I'm leaking that you've never seen before, I'd love to hear it. Skyard talking about how Kelia is just going to be Kelia is I was saying the other day, like, Kelia is already, from my Splinter Coach data, because I use Splinter Coach and it tracks how many, and this is not sponsored, but I use Splinter Coach to track how often I use which monsters, and then I just find the data interesting to look at later. I'm really shocked by how much I play Kelia. We're talking hundreds of battles, far more than any other summoner, because of the 4 mana, because of the speed, because of the armor. It is not my best summoner, but it's my summoner that I play with the most, which is really important. And then when you remember that Untamed summoners are currently Kelia's competition, and they will soon not be, I wonder if that amazing summoner is even going to be that much more amazing because it's a bigger fish in a small pond. Have you thought about that, Skeeter?
Yeah, yeah, there's gonna be more competition for Kalia, so we'll see how this goes going forward. And with the new dual color summoners, yeah, there's gonna be a rotation, so there's gonna be a smaller pool of cards available. But when they add the new like mini set of the next Rift Watchers back in, then the dual summoners could be even more powerful because then you get more cards to play with before rotation.
Yeah. Look at this comment from Gathering. He goes, now that we have seen a few cards spoiled, how many packs overall will sell? 3 million, 5 million, 7 million plus? I agree with the sentiment of this, that these cards are exciting. And I think you've seen in the content creation, and you've seen at every, like on Hive and Twitter and on YouTube and on Twitch, like people are dropping these cards and there's a lot of great excitement around it. So there, and we sold more packs in pre-sale than Matt was expecting. Are you feeling, Skeeter, at this moment that there is more excitement? Like, is it a growing excitement? Is it the same excitement that's always been here? Is Rebellion and these card leaks changing your expectations as we go forward? Or do you feel pretty much the same as you did maybe 3-4 months ago?
Oh no, I'm excited for sure. And now that it's getting closer, the excitement's like more tangible and palpable, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And I even messaged Matt saying like, hey, let's get some more card reveals out. Because right now people are just hyped for cards to leave, but that's because we don't know what the new cards are. So when you actually know about the unknown and like how good these cards could be, it gets people really excited. And yeah, we sold almost all of the pre-sale, which I was surprised about. But you know, I'm really excited to see how many more millions of packs we can sell, and we're gonna have a 1-year time frame to do it, so we don't have to do it all in 1 month.
Yeah. I saw a comment from Virus saying an idea for archery only with the new summoner, with the blue black summoner. You can drop in the Wave Brood in the first position. Where is that one located? I'm going to show Max. Wave Brood's got the close range. Close range. It's got the huge hit point shield. It's got the archery reflect. It's got void if that ends up. Well, it wouldn't be relevant in an archery only rule set. It's got even the taunt in case they try to drew a snipe. Yeah, this is a great tank. And then drop with it the Headwinds monster from the black team. What's it called? He mentioned it. There it is. Queen of Crows. And the Queen of Crows has Headwinds. I love using Headwinds when it's archery only. What I do right now is I will play I lean heavily on my Death Splinter during archery only rule set. I use Queen of Crows sometimes as my tank, depending on mana. And I'll use Soul Storm because I have that card and it's an Untamed still available in Modern. They both have Headwinds. And so then I'm reducing my archery damage output. Plus I'll try and use, I forget its name right now, but I have the summoner from the Death Splinter from the Untamed, which is rare, that gives you -1 archery. So that's 3 minus nerfs to your archery. Or I'll use the dragon if I can. Quicks the Devious, because that's a -1 archery to your offense plus the speed manipulation. So that is the play I'm doing, but I definitely like what that's currently when Rebellion comes. I like what you're saying there, Virus, bringing in the combination of those two, especially using relying on Headwinds.
Yeah. I like where your head at is too, Virus. But then late last night pondering about what can Fire and Death do together. Well, those are the two splinters that go for archery only because they both have the Headwinds card. They have the Queen of Crows. And then Fire has that 7 mana guy with Reflection Shield and Headwinds. And now you can play both those Headwind cards in the same field. And they'll both be in Modern, and then throw in Quicks, and that's 3 archery nerfs. And then Red has the Lava Launcher to tank, and you have the Queen of Crows to tank. Like, I think the Red and Black Dual Summoner will be supreme for archery only.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Good suggestion. Let's see what a little bit about the chat saying here. Skyer says, let's see, how will Untamed rotate on the 5th? I think it's like, I haven't heard exact explicit direction on this. I think it's going to be just kind of immediate when Rebellion's available and playable in game, and it'll be an update on that morning, I would think. And they'll probably put a new window on the front homepage, right? This will be reframed, showing slightly different monsters or something, I would expect. And then you'll log in and you'll just be able to select your Rebellions. Simultaneously, you will not be able to select your Untames, and they'll be available only in the wild format, which is crazy to think. Do you have any key? You picked up some Untamed. Did we talk about this recently? And you got like you have that quadruple attacking dragon, don't you?
Yeah, the Vigilator.
Yeah.
He's been my dream.
Yeah.
I've been trying to go with the Inspire army. I had to get the Enchanted Pixie because I couldn't afford the Angel of Life or Death or whatever it is. So that gives double Inspire with a Brownie. So it's still my dream to go with all double strike plus Inspire team in Wild. And I'm not selling my Vigilator. I'll throw him on land or whatever for a while whenever I want to go back to Wild because I'm still hopeful that Wild will become more competitive again. When we find another space for bots to go, then people want to play Wild as human only. And then if that happens, then I can see the value of Wild cards increasing again too.
I'm seeing Elf War drop a comment saying that if it's based on Magic the Gathering color chart, I presume 5 dual summoners now and 5 during the next set. Allied summoners now and then enemies. Gathering says allied summoners now and then enemies for the next 5. Interesting, like thinking through thematically, like lore wise, there's the rebellion, and here are some rebellion dual summoners, and then there's the whatever the response is to that, and here's 5 more, maybe. Interesting.
Yeah, I think so. Magic the Gathering does something like that, where they call it the allied and enemy colors. I don't know.
Let's turn back to some of these cards let's try and move a bit quicker through some of these ones that we haven't seen, or the ones we have seen, so we can get into the ones we haven't. If there's anything really striking you want to mention about any of these, I'd love to hear it though.
How about we talk about Lookout, just the new ability from Anash Soothsayer, the 6-mana healer card on blue.
Yeah.
And Lookout, by definition, decreases the damage your adjacent creatures receive from Sneak, Opportunity, and Snipe, all by 1 damage. And then you throw in a Demoralize, Headwinds, effects like that, and now you nerf the Pelacor Bandit in Gold League. It goes from 3 attack, and then you throw in a Demoralize 2 attack, and then Lookout's now at 1 attack. Now you're at Pelacor Bandit hitting for 1.
Wow.
And even without Demoralize, the Uraeus is going to hit for 1 damage.
Wow.
Against a Lookout monster.
Wow, that's really interesting. That makes me immediately think about the impact of poison, because you mentioned the Uraeus, and I think, your 1 damage is maybe not going to move the needle, but the poison might. And then does that start to make, first of all, I think it may make items and spells super important, because you need that buff to come in certain situations. Like maybe you have a plus melee buff, or maybe, and we know that there's already a plus archery summoner that can maybe tweak that configuration for your opponent. Or maybe even there's poison. There's the poison summoner. What's his name?
Waka Flocka Flame.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you like? It's going to be really interesting to watch this evolve. It's like a arms race. Like you're talking a cool new strategy for defense, and then the offense has to think through like a response to your response.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to have more counterplay to Sneak. I think this Lookout ability, I kind of underestimated it at first, but I think it can be very powerful.
I've been like, I pretty much said, like, I don't really see it as deeply powerful. Now, it's not my worst. I feel like the flank one, I don't want to pull away from this conversation. If you have more to say on that Lookout, I love what you just said. I think you've pretty much convinced me that's very powerful. The one I felt was maybe the least exciting new ability is probably the flank, because you have to expose yourself in the first position to create a reach monster. And, putting yourself in that first position to give some sort of ability means you're making yourself vulnerable to impart that ability. And reach isn't really that game breaking. Reach is a card that we already have 5 or 10 of on every Splinter. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I already have reach monsters I like. Now, there might be some new synergy I haven't thought about. Do you have any key thoughts on the Lookout ability and where maybe your head's at on? Because this is, no, that's not Lookout. I mean, flank.
Yeah, thanks. I think flank can be really powerful and stuff right now, but I don't like the flank cards right now. It seems like they're kind of too offensive oriented, where you're paying a lot of mana for offensive stats, where you kind of just want like a Bakjira type card or an Almo Cambio who doesn't attack to give the reach from behind.
Yeah.
So I think if they make like a 0 attack card with flank, I think that'd be way better.
Like one option that as I think through, like, lore wise, what I would imagine a flank monster might mean or look like, if there was a visualization, it might be like a fortress, or and it's like, in some sense, I'm putting the fortress in the first spot, and it's now this leverage position. Like literally there's a ladder that leads up to the tallest wall of the fortress, giving you the capacity to attack from the second position. And also a fortress is a wall. It's sturdy, it's strong, it's resilient. That's kind of what I imagine of that sort of, if I wanted to use that ability, that's how I would want it to be presented, in the sense of the card itself that provides the flank is more than anything else a great defender. Like you said, a Bakjira that really is resilient. A card like this providing flank, I want this card with speed and damage in my third spot, my second, third spot, because I want this magic damage to stay alive longer. I want this card to be, yes, a meat shield for me, but I don't want it to be my first line of defense. It doesn't even have void or void armor or, heal or shield, or it has nothing that, yes, it has a huge hit point pool, but I mean, we could fry that hit point pool, especially with Giant Killer.
Oh yeah, good point. I'm gonna go back to the theme real quick.
Yeah.
I could see like a flank card, ideal flank card I would be like a stables in the front position, where it allows you to give horses to your guys in the back, who can then flank your opponent.
Yeah, I like that. And we've seen some of the cards in this game have been, they're mostly monsters, but some of them are like, how do I say this? Like things, or like I think about the creeping ooze, or the, even this lurking puffer. It's just like, it's almost like it's an obstacle. It doesn't have an attack. It's like a thing that is in the way. It has so it's almost a different way of envisioning a monster card, as opposed to, here's a hero or a villain that throws things or stabs, right? So yeah, interesting. Anything else?
And going back to that last card, the way to protect the flank card when it's not tanky is taunt. So you'd have to throw up a taunt in the back to keep the flank alive for longer.
You mean going back to this card, to keep the flank alive, you'd need a taunt in the back, you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with you, definitely. And so there's ways. I don't think this is a bad card by any means, but this is just one of the ones I'm least excited. Not least, sorry, that's not even right either. It's like I'm less excited about this card than I am of some of these others. Any of these other ones grab you before we grab into a couple new ones that I saw yesterday?
So yeah, that least exciting card, it does 1 damage against Lookout, so I think that card just becomes even worse. And I think the Moxie and Rebel could be good too. As the blog post said, you combine it with Obsidian, and then it gives +6 damage to split amongst 3 creatures. But I have a lot of notes from these cards analysis, so I might just make my own video and maybe submit it to you if you want to upload it.
Amazing.
So I can go into it deeper.
I'm even happy to get into some more of that too in our like members only content for sure, because I love this conversation. But it's already 10:35, and I want to tackle these. I want to tackle these 3 new ones that I saw yesterday on social media that were from other content creators, and then we are going to finish today here with like a fresh look at something. But I want to keep checking in with the chat, guys. If you haven't dropped the like, drop that like. Let people know. 22 viewers, 11 likes. Do me a favor. It doesn't cost you anything, and it lets the community understand that we're covering Splinterlands every day, and invites them in. Let's see what the chat's saying. Let's see. Dragon is dual. Oh yeah, somebody was saying, L4 said, so Dragon won't be getting a dual color, and then Gathering correctly said, Dragon is dual. It has access to that multi sort of opportunity. So let's see. Virus says, what did Virus say here? Oh, that's I like that with Wave Brood as well in the back with the new Water Summoner. You could give it shield too. The new Water Summoner. Oh yeah, because you can drop the Summoner Tactics shield implementation. Where is that guy again? Way up here. This is going to be so much fun, isn't it? Like thinking through how to affect. This game, Splinterlands, is a game of economy. And I mean that in a variety of ways. The game is a game of economy in that you can never have every asset as sufficiently as you would want. I mean SPS, I mean cards. Every single pack edition is its own story. Gladiators, merits, everything about this game, you cannot have enough of it. So then you have to manage what you're able to access and acquire with literal US dollars or Canadian dollar, your fiat currency to move into this, but then also your time and attention. There's an economy of how you can invest that to extract more. And then there's an economy within the mana set. Like, okay, we only have 90 mana, or we have 60 mana or 20 mana in this battle. How am I going to win this with the tools available to me? And there's another level being introduced. Now, there's actually 2 new levels really, like with the multicolor summoners. That's like, okay, that affects the economy of how I can engage in a given battle, bringing together and creating new synergies that then make you rethink the application of that same mana. And here we see summoner tactics, just like you said, and Virus is saying, like, the implementation of this could really transform even that idea that you were dropping, Skeeter, where you were like, you're using the, what's it called now? The lookout functionality to reduce damage, maybe a demoralize or a headwinds to further reduce damage, and then finally a shield to literally nullify damage. Could be pretty wild, couldn't it?
Yeah, I really like that. I forgot about that new summoner, but yeah, you combine the lookout right next to the shield monster. You're gonna give shield, and that could be really strong, especially if it's super sneak, or everyone's gonna attack sneak, and now they're all damage is reduced by 1. It's pretty much like a demoralize.
Yeah.
Plus you get other stats.
Interesting. Super interesting. It's conceivable that you could generate a team where you, like, through the implementation of summoner tactics, as well as maybe items and spells, as well as like planning the right team, you might actually conceive of a strategy where your opponent literally can't damage you. And there's some element of like proactiveness in terms of planning, and then reactiveness with recognizing the battlefield and making those calls as you see the battlefield and making the right moves.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's like the inevitable lineups right now where you play double repair, triple repair, and double tank heal and triage. You can't really break through it without Curse of Armor yet.
Okay. Let's spend about 15 minutes on these guys here. I haven't talked about these at all. Now I know that's quite small. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. Control. So it's a little blurry. This one was released by Clove. And she covered it on Twitch, I think, and then she dropped it in Mav's chat. You can see that, can't you, Skeeter?
Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, that card looks super, super strong. If you compare it to the 2-mana Crystal Archer, whatever it is, the neutral one, this thing has 1 more speed and 1 more HP, I think, over it, plus flying and backfire. It's kind of like that Dragon Archer card without the swiftness, but this guy has backfire and flying instead, so he's more of a sneak defensive play instead of an offensive play.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very strong for 2 mana.
Definitely. The flight is really interesting because, Earthquake rule sets, because this is a 25% chance to evade as long as your opponent does not have flying, and that combination therefore with the backfire. And then if you can bring a blind, which is another 15%, I'm really using blind these days. I'm using a ton of it, like just for evasiveness. And it's really with some of these phase monsters, I really use it, but absolutely in an archery only rule set, this could be a very interesting tank, particularly if you happen to have a blind monster that is an archer that can bring that capacity in. Cause
Oh, sorry. And then you throw in the lookout next to it, and now it takes 1 damage from sneak or 2 damage from sneak with the flying and blind.
Yes.
And now you got a sneak defense for 2 mana.
Wow, great call. No, for sure. Love that. And for 2 mana, right? And maybe your summoner has headwinds if it's you could use quicks and bring it in. You could use quicks and bring it in to give you that headwinds if it's an archery only. Love it. It's going to be like, this is the thing. We've got so much new, exciting ways to look through this. And then even we know that fire is going to partner with death too. So maybe this is like another 2-mana archer. Some of the plays we talked about earlier, Virus suggested, you suggested with the death fire combo, they're a bit higher in mana. There's the Wave Brood. Well, no, that's the blue one. There's the Queen of Crows, which is 9. There's the fire one with headwinds. I forget, it's 7 or so, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Ash Mirage, 7 mana. So that's not exactly cheap. and then you want to balance it out with a 2-mana, this new 2-mana flame method.
Oh, yeah, the flame method will be a tank too. You know, you just kind of spam that Antoid platoon, and then you put him right behind her, and you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Your Antoid platoon's not going to get sneak attacked and crippled down or whatever.
Yeah. Love it. Man, and the 2-mana, anything under, I saw somebody say recently that the Rebellion is really impacting the 4-mana meta, like this Little League. And I think so far that has been pretty true. Like a lot of the cards, there's been 15 cards. This is 16 for me that I've seen of the 96 that are coming with Rebellion. There's a lot of little mana monsters. Now there's some big ones too, but there's a lot of little ones. This one's hugely impactful. This one looks pretty decent. I'm not so convinced about Moxie, but again, 4 mana is pretty interesting. Lurker Puffer for 2 mana looks crazy to me.
I'm super hyped on the Lurker Puffer. And that guy, he's good against poison, and he has snare against flying Earthquake rule set. So he's the Snipe Earthquake poison counter.
This is like the everything card for 3 mana. Like, I mean, this is like a very, very effective card for 3 mana, considering how much hit point, considering immunity, and I don't know if there's a lookout on the green team, but man, I'm thinking like lookout to support your tank even, right? You could put your lookouts in. I was always thinking about lookout from the perspective of like the 5th spot to support my sneak and opportunity maybe monsters, but it's totally plausible to put a lookout in the right context with the right skill set in the 2nd position to support your tank.
Dude, yeah, with Lily's Shield Pot, where you force them to attack your tank, and their sneak attacks now go at the front, and now your lookout's going to hit your tank.
Shield Paw. I'm like, oh yeah, Shield Paw. You're right. Yeah.
It's camouflage.
Yeah.
And now they attack the front, and then now you know where they're going to attack, and you can put a lookout up there if you expect sneak.
Yes. Interesting, man. Really cool. So many fun new like angles and synergies. Let me put up this. I'm going to put up Flame Method one more time on the screen here, and I want to see if the chat's talking about this guy here. Let's see, with flanking fire, 2 mana only. We have gathering for 2 mana only. Wow. That one with Jasic will be fun. Yeah. Speed, right? The +2 speed. And the +2 speed with the flight adding to its evasiveness, proccing that backfire more often. 6 speed. 6 speed in 6 speed in the tank position.
Plus a blind.
Yeah, plus a blind and the flight. Unless you brought snare, good luck. Yeah. Wow.
That can be a tank.
Yeah.
The right rule set.
Really cool. Really cool. I have not looked at, like, I obviously saved these, I found them, but I didn't think thoughtfully about them as yet. So I'm loving that conversation, both from Gathering and yourself, Skeeter. Thanks for for 2 mana in a certain rule set, a tank, and absolutely even I would say in like an off tank setting, or like I picture like a sneak attack evader. Like I like putting the I forget what its name is, but that Dragon 2 archery Dragon 2 archery card with the swiftness and the backfire, I put that in the back sometimes as a sneak defense. And a card like this is the same idea in some sense.
Yeah, exactly. Except this one has flying and not swiftness.
Yes.
So it's more defensive and does its job better.
That's right. Yeah, unless they have flying too, because then that neutralizes that 25%. Okay. Maybe any more thoughts on that one?
No, let's go to the next card.
Okay.
This one, next one, 12 mana looks powerful.
Dude, this looks beast. This makes me think of like Lord of the Rings, which I'm a huge fan of.
Oh yeah. Dude, that's sick. It's like the elf leader, like Elrond kind of.
Yeah. It kind of looks like it actually kind of looks like what's his name? Thalamor. It's Legolas's father. And also, but he also kind of looks like Denethor, Boromir's father, like a cross, like a cruel king is what I'm imagining. What is Legolas's father's name? I think it's like Thranduil. This is him from like the Hobbit, but then he's too chill. So you gotta mix in some Denethor. And you got like
this guy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But what do you see when you see this one?
I'm just learning how impactful Rust is. Like Rust is game changing, especially like if you put a protect or Alchemist the bear, and then your opponent has Rust. It's like, well, that extra 4 mana from the bear kind of just went away because now he doesn't give armor to everyone, and then now you can counter it with Rust. And it seemed like life needed some more big magic monsters since we have Bile of the Radiant and High King Darius rotating out, so this will help fill the niche. And then it just has scavenge, and we've seen how strong that is
I know.
with 6 speed.
This is bananas. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You get this guy phase somehow, he could be really powerful too with
Yeah.
the 6 speed. It's really ridiculous how he has 6 speed
Yeah.
for a magic monster.
I know.
There's hardly any magic monsters with that much speed.
Yeah, this is why this card is wild. This is like this is my literally I didn't do any, like I'm just like taking it in now as I look at this. I'm like, whoa. The one limitation here, obviously, like the huge mana cost, you can't play it everywhere. Also, you're susceptible to giant kill. But this is a magic monster, so I don't need to put it in the front line. It doesn't have taunt, so I don't need to necessarily worry about the susceptibility to giant kill. I can position it wherever I want. It has a huge hit point pool to start with, and the scavenge. Even with Dr. Blight, we find it has 4 hit points or something like that, and by the end of the game, it has 10, 12. Now Dr. Blight has camouflage, but there's lots of times scavenger monsters just get out of control. And I will often with the Death Splinter, I will use a scavenger type play to counter Noxious Fumes or to counter Flight. Earthquake rule set, because you're going to lose power. You're going to lose hit points. But as the table is getting cleared of monsters, both from your team and the opponent's team, those scavengers are all getting, like, in some sense, a heal or an extra hit point. Scavenger is powerful. The armor too is nice. And yeah, what you said about Rust, I totally agree. This season in particular, and I don't know why maybe, but Rust has been a bigger part of my game style. One of the things I found recently with Rust is that, yes, you mentioned Bear and how it introduced Protect, and maybe there are more Protect monsters lately. I can think of a couple as I struggle to grab it from my head. There's that new Archer from the Death Splinter that provides Inspire plus Protect. But regardless of whether there's more Protect, it just seems to me like I want to be able to curate the battlefield so that I can beat you in certain ways. And one of the ways I use Rust to do that is if I'm bringing Possibilis into the rule set, if I'm bringing a trample monster or a trample approach, I want to make sure you don't have one little armor that's gonna stop my massive trample. And so bringing one Rust or even sometimes 2 Rusts, if in a certain situation, or if I see what you've done in the last 5 battles and you use armor a lot, that is one of the things that I'm doing, because that one armor can stop a trample, and if I just have that Rust, you don't even get it.
Yeah, it's really important. For that Rust as well, like you're talking about. And I'm just kind of thinking about how this guy synergizes with kind of more general Sloan, because he reduces the armor, and then your archers can hit straight to the core, like a Pelacor Arbalist. Could be very synergetic with this card.
Yeah. So fast, man. So fast. It's going to fire first or among your first monsters to fire.
Yeah.
And with the Immortalis, you're going to get Shatter. Yeah. So, interesting.
And I want to put Martyr in front of this guy. It gives him scavenge and extra attack, and he'll gain the armor. That seems like a win-win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Very strong. I guess the only question is this, really. Like, I don't see any other impediment here. I wonder with the chat if you guys are dropping anything. New use for a Qantas Fire Team, Gargor, and Enrage it. Without. This is Virus is chatting about this flame method.
It's Scargor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, Scargor with the Enrage, right? Boom. Note that you are not hitting me anymore. That's wild.
Yeah, and you can do the Chaos Agent right in front of it, and then you get to do that guy, and then you have 2 guys with like 4 speed that they'll enrage with either dodge or flying.
Yeah. Wow. And even in that rule set where Equalizer, where everyone gets the same crazy hit points, a card like this, it's like, it is great. Actually, I really like this card as a tank, as an off tank kind of situation. Like, the only impediment, 6 is still a good amount of hit points, but 10 is better. And you would get that for 2 mana theoretically. Any thoughts on this elf here, guys? Let's see here. A Thanduil gathering knew who it was. Let's see. Does Rust stack? Does Rust stack if two monsters have Rust? Yes, it does. Wait for a fast card, Earth card. That's crazy. Yeah, there isn't a lot of like Earth has the flying. What's it called? The magic monster that's
Regal Periton.
yes, which was a 7 speed at the highest level. But there's a lot of slower magic monsters on the Earth team. The isn't there? Like, I mean, let's quickly pick that up.
Like phase counters Earth, in my opinion, just because they generally have a really slow team.
Yes. Magic.
So, when I go for a magic only team, I try to put the Void Dragon up front, especially with Enrage.
I use the Centauri, but this is an older reward card. It's got that shattered edge. That means it's it came out, I think, during Untamed. So that's going to slip out, I think. And then, so Shaman is fast-ish. 3 is not fast, right? Like 7, 6, 5 is fast.
3 is just like not slow.
Yes. So I mean, Runemancer Flore with the 4 speed is among the faster. It's not the fastest team, and so you're right. Like if you can bring a phase that has some decent speed, like that 7 mana neutral Almo Cambio, then you're starting to get into a place where your green's gonna be in trouble. Okay, we got 7 minutes left in the public live. We're gonna move into. I need you guys to know if you're hanging out. First of all, thank you for hanging out. 26 viewers, 15 likes. Do me a favor, drop that like. I'm going after this. Me and Skeeter are going to spend another hour talking with the members of my YouTube channel. So if you're interested, you can get involved today. If you're not already, consider it. It just helps support the content I'm creating. Plus, you get access to a whole library of content that is members only, including an hour of live that I'm about to do with Skeeter here, and we'll keep this conversation going. I do want to honor the public people and make sure I'm at least sharing the leak that I was given today. But I'm then going to go talk about it with my members after we're done this, right at 11. So in 6 minutes, we're going to go live with the members only. And if you are at all curious about what that means, you can go to my YouTube channel and the members page. I think it's in the community tab. No, it's in the members page, and check it out and see if there's if you want to. And, but before we do that, let's get any last thoughts on Thanalor. 30 seconds on Thanalor.
I think the 6 speed is a little power creeped, but that's okay. You know, yeah, he's 12 mana, so that's fair.
Yeah, I could see this being a 13 mana, or like, you know what I mean, like something. You're right. There's something here. This is a strong card. Something, either this probably should be a little higher, or maybe something in here should be a little lower. This guy here, Mariput Magician, so cute. My daughter's gonna love this one.
That card looks nuts. It heals itself, and it has tank heal and shield and triage. So that's another great sneak defense with 5 speed. This card's super powerful, especially in the current meta when everyone's trying to sneak you from the back.
This one's strengthen. So that's strengthen. So the +1 hit point to your whole team. Isn't it? That is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And okay, good. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misreading that ability. Okay. 5 mana. Let me think this through. 5 mana, great speed again. Now, what are we? We're life. Okay. Yeah, tank heal. I mean, it's great to see a new tank heal. The life splinter has always had good tank heal support, good healing, good resurrect, all of that, because it's very thematic with the life. This feels super resilient, right? Like the shield with the 8 hit points and the strengthen, so you're at 9 hit points. This thing's this is a tank. Now I'm not going to put it in the tank spot first and foremost, but if it gets there, you're not upset. You're not necessarily in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, throw the Pelacor Conjure in front of this and this guy, and you're pretty good. And then you throw in some DPS.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is one Lord then need Rust big time for possibilities. Wait, General Sloan plus Zariel. Zariel is a card that I'm seeing Skyers drop in a comment. Wait, General Sloan plus Zariel and 2 no attack. You get 18 damage. I actually don't mess around with Zariel. I'm not sure.
So the weapons training maxes out at 4 damage. So it'd be 5 plus 5 plus 5, so 15 damage. Or 16 damage.
Whoa. Cool. Let's see, back away from that. Okay, we got about 3 more minutes here with the public live. Let's see, what else do I want to say about this guy? Life Splinter. I mean, this just feels very on brand is what my thoughts are. I think it's going to be a great, it's like, I think this is a must-have card. If you play with your Life Splinter, like this feels like you always need tank heals. This is a strong tank healer. I would say it's probably one of the better healers from that white team because it's not going to just fall over and die. Tank heal. Because okay, so that's not the only ones that exist. What's going on
There's
here?
the Venari.
Oh, I see. I'm looking at magic.
Crystal Smith.
So look, old school. True Speaker slipping out into wild. You got Crystal Smith, and this is slipping out into the wild too. So you literally only have Crystal Smith left and from the white team, and now you're going to have this other edition. Crystal Smith has 6 hit points too. I like this card, especially with the Dispel, and Dispel's got a recent big buff because of the way that they're changing how weapons training is going to work. Hey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And I think that this new card is going to go really well with that new 4-mana support monster that has repair and protect. And now this guy is going to get armor and be protected and repaired and stuff. I mean, so I think that will make him super resilient.
You mean this one?
Yeah, the Rune Series Sabaya.
Yeah. This is Dragon, but you're right. The partnership's possible. Okay, let's... any last thoughts on any of this stuff? I want to show you I'm going to show the new card now, and let's
see the new one.
Okay, let's down a little bit. Okay, bear with me, guys. So again, I'm gonna share this here, but we're gonna wrap this live here in a minute, and we're gonna transition to a members only live. So thank you guys for coming. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. If you enjoy the content, make sure you drop a comment on my regular stuff. Hang out every day. We cover Splinterlands every day. So come join us more often. And then let me just find it before I do. What did I do with it? That's funny. Oh yeah, okay, I remember now. I put it desktop, Rebellion. Boom. Okay, I'm going to show the artwork first. So this is the new artwork for the new monster that they've given me to reveal. I have not done a deep dive on this yet. Me and Skeeter are going to get into it directly. I'm going to show you the stats in a moment here. But Skeeter, I haven't really thought this through, so we'll start our conversation in the members live in a minute, and we'll get into our deep dive on what we think this card's capable of. But before I go, once again, thank you, and I'm going to show you guys the actual the stats on this one too. Bear with me for one more minute.
Just on the art, the card looks grungy, like he's up to no good. He's gonna hit you bit from the back, take your cut first.
Yeah, what do you think? Are you thinking melee, or what are you thinking with this guy? Give me your guess.
I mean, I think he looks like it could be Snake, but then he also has that blue bag with like a blue crystal gem in it, so that could also be magic.
Yeah, I would think sneaky magic is based on what I'm just thematically what I'm seeing. Let's see what it actually is. This is the data. This is the actual card. Thank you to Splinterlands for sharing it with me first, and thank you for you guys to come witness it with us. If you want to hear the deep dive on what we think about this, come hang out in the public live, or I mean the members live. But there she is. Screenshot her, guys, and I'll do another video for like the whole channel. But right now we're gonna move over to the members only live. Before you leave, drop that like, guys. Thank you so much for coming to see me, and for Skeeter as well.